fear on every side, and we will expose him, they said. All my chaverim watched for my stumbling. He will be lured away, and so on and so on. But despite all the obstacles, Yirmiyahu said, nope, your word is in the ark of the tabernacle. I am your tabernacle, Yahweh, even though it is clothed in mortal flesh. And I will speak what you give me to speak. I will say what you tell me to say. I will obey what you tell me to obey. And the day of pressure and excuses and succumbing to pressure is over. If you're going to last at Bnei Yeshua synagogue, the day of succumbing to the pressures of this world and the pressures of the flesh and the compromising calls of the flesh have come to an end. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Tehillim 40 verse 8. Don't turn there because we have a lot to cover. Tehillim chapter 40. Psalm 40 verse 8. I delight to do your will, O Yahweh. Yeshua speaking in the first person. I delight to do, through the prophet David, I delight to do your will, O Elohim. Yes, your Torah is in my lane. And then the next verse says, you have prepared a body for me. Sacrifice and offering thou wouldst not. A body thou hast prepared for me. And that's fulfilled when Yeshua took on the body and came to this world to die for the sins of the world. But before he could obey Yahweh and take on the body prepared for him from the foundation of the world, he first had to have the desire to please Yahweh. Psalm 40 verse 8. He says, I delight to do your will, Elohim, my Elohim, because your Torah is within my lay. Yeshua was a tabernacle that dwelt among men. In the beginning was the Word was with Yahweh, the living Torah was Yahweh, and the living Torah became flesh and tabernacled as Yahweh's tabernacle among men. So he's not asking you to raise up your tabernacle if he wasn't first willing to raise up his tabernacle. He raised up his tabernacle many times over as he sanctified himself before the Father, and the Father filled Yeshua with the full measure of his Tiferet and the full measure of his Ruach HaKadosh. Right? What is there between Yeshua and us? Nothing. We have a measure of the Ruach HaKadosh. Yeshua had the what? Fullness of the Ruach HaKadosh. But we're both tabernacles before Yahweh. Yahweh expects us to keep our tabernacle pure, to have his word in our heart, to have that word as a burning fire, shut up, in our bones. No, I wasn't speaking to you, just relax. Tehillim 119 verse 11. Your word, O Yahweh, have I hidden in my lane, that I may not sin against you. So this veil is so that the ark can be full of Yahweh's word. That's what Aviv 1, Happy New Year, is all about. You can make it happy. Flee fornication, flee lying, flee double-mindedness, flee addiction, flee bondage. Don't settle for the way you're living now. What profit? All things are expedient to you, but not all things are what? Profitable. All things are lawful, according to the state of Florida, but not all things are what? Profitable. According to the state of Florida, I can go into a bar and do this or do that and do this and do that, but not all things are what? Profitable for me. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. Now go back to Shemot 20 and 40 and verse 4. I very rarely teach on the Torah Parsha because I like being led by the Ruach and not by the Jewish calendar. But today, the Ruach led me to teach on today's Parsha. Amen. Amen. Praise Yahweh for the Ruach.
Amen.
Shemot chapter 40. Let's go to verse 4. And you will bring in the Shulchan. Interesting. You shall bring in the Shulchan and set it in order the things that are to be set up on it. Think of Pesach, think of Aviv 1, and think of raising up your tabernacle, okay? You are to bring the Shulchan, set in order the things that are to be set up in order upon it, and you will bring the menorah and the light thereof. He's talking to who? To Moshe. He's telling Moshe to raise up the tabernacle on the first day of Aviv, the new year. Aren't we all children of Yahweh? He that is least in the kingdom of Yahweh is greater than Moshe, and greater than Yochanan HaMatbil, and greater than the Nevi'im. He that is least in the kingdom, in the Malchut HaShamayim, is greater than all the prophets that went before. So, if Moshe was told on the new year, Aviv 1, to raise up the tabernacle, why should you and I do differently? Right? Because we want the same result that Moshe had. What resulted in Moshe raising up the tabernacle on Aviv 1? The Tiferet filled the tabernacle. And we'll read more about that in a few hours. But what struck me here is incredible. The wording here, now in the Peshat, I'm totally blasting this out of the water. I'm twisting this and making up my own message. But thankfully, I'm not a born-again Baptist-Costal. I am a nice Jewish boy. Well, I'm Jewish, I don't know how nice, but I'm not. And so therefore, I can start with 4 levels of Hebraic interpretation. Pashat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. And then I can go 39 levels deep, see? In Hebraic thought, ooh, Yahweh has given you a prophetic word, a prophetic insight that Brother Moshe doesn't have, see? And you've got something that she doesn't have. Wow, man. You're right, because Yahweh's showing him something. He's right, because neither contradict the word. His revelation doesn't contradict the word, and her revelation doesn't contradict. You're right, he's right, let's eat. In religion, it's like, if you don't believe what I'm teaching exactly the way I'm teaching it, you're going to Gehenna. You go to the Gehenna. That's Greco-Roman theology. There's only one way to see the scriptures. In Hebraic understanding, we start at what? 4 basic ways to see the scriptures, and we go down 39 levels. But I'm doing Pashat, Remez, Drash, and Sod, or Pardes. The Hebrew word Pardes means Garden of Eden, paradise restored. To see paradise in the scriptures, you start with the 4 levels of Hebraic interpretation. In the Pashat, in the simple, okay, this is talking about the wilderness tabernacle. In the hint level of understanding, what is Yahweh hinting at us? What is Yahweh saying to us? What is Yahweh sharing with us? What is Yahweh's message to us? Hey, you guys, if you're following my calendar, you're going to what? Enter the first day of the first month, aren't you? So what does Yahweh expect you to do? To raise up your tabernacle. Notice, I've got to bring my own veil. I've got to make my heart his ark. I've got to take the Torah, the Nevi'im, the Ketuvim, and the Brit Chadashah, all the scriptures, and hide them in my heart so they would be like what? His word will become like a fire, a burning, spreading wildfire that is shut up in my bones, somebody. Hallelujah. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. Hallelujah. And it's all clothed in the veil of mortality. But one day, 1 Corinthians 15, Corinthians 15 tells us, we're going to shed this immortality, and all the Tiferet will come gushing out. We'll talk about that later. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But it can only come gushing out if you, Bidikat Chametz now, if you prepare your temple now, your Beit HaMikdash now, so that when our change comes, not rapture, we're not looking for rapture, we're looking for change, hello? When our change comes, all that Tiferet will come what? Gushing out of our bodies. But if we don't put Tiferet in our bodies now, how do we put Tiferet in? The same way we put Yeshua in. Can I literally transplant his glory? Of course you can. How did Yeshua come into your life? You asked him into your life. How do you get more glory? Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For just the ladies who ask and seek receive. Right? Wrong. All who knock, all who ask, all will receive the things of his Tiferet. Raising your tabernacle. Aviv 1. New Year's. This coming Wednesday night. Not just any other Rosh Chodesh. It is the beginning of the B'dichat Chametz. The 14 days when we cleanse and we prepare to eat the Master's blood, Master's bread, and drink the Master's blood. Look at verse 4. You will bring a shulchan. You will bring those things that are in order upon the shulchan, the table. You will bring the menorah. You will bring the lights of the lamps. What is Yahweh saying to us? He's saying, listen, we are to bring the menorah and lighten our inner parts with his truth. Did you get that? It doesn't matter if you have a menorah in the shul. We are to bring our menorah, our light. Go with me to Matthew 5:6. Matthew 5:16. In other words, every life must be lit up by their own what? Determination to be his tabernacle, to be his representative, to have their heart become his ark, to have our bodies become the temple of the Beit HaMikdash of the Ruach HaKadosh. And not only that, into your what? Beit HaMikdash, you are to bring your own table. Are you getting this? You are to bring your own table where you can sit down in the presence of Yahweh. It's all about you. It's not easy believism like religion teaches. Just believe. Just believe. If you believe, you'll act. You'll act in obedience. And you'll do those things that Yeshua requires. Bring your own table. Even if you reserve a spot this year for Pesach, bring your own table. That means the table of your heart. That means be prepared for whatever Yahweh shows you needs to be removed. Wash your own table. Sponge your own table. Clean your own table. And then set the things on your table that Yahweh has called there. Truth, righteousness, peace, joy, long-suffering, patience, meekness, mercy, favor. All those gifts of the Ruach. All the manifestations of the gift of Ahavah, the Ruach. Reset the table. Bring your own table and bring your own fruit. Okay? This is an all fruit diet here. Get rid of the chametz, get rid of the baking soda, and set the table with the fruit of his Ruach. Matthew 5:16. Neither do men light a candle, listen, and put it under a bushel, but on a menorah, so that it gives light to all who are in the bayit. Who's the bayit? The house of Israel, the 12 tribes, both houses. Yahweh wants you to raise up your tabernacle so the house of Israel will have light. They've been brainwashed by religion. Most people come into Torah and the blood of Yeshua confused. What's going to end the confusion? Your prepared table in your heart. Your ark in your heart. Your light so shining before men. But you got to bring your own menorah, hello? And your own lights. Watch this. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a menorah. It gives light to all that are in the bayit, both houses of Israel, all 12 tribes. It comes in the veil. Listen, the light comes into the veil. Here's the veil, your flesh, your temple. Or if the menorah does not come within the veil, meaning within the holy place where the menorah was, what's going to happen to your light? It's going to get blown out by the world. If you don't protect your light, the only way to protect the light that you have is to bring it into the holy place. And what's the holy place? Our body is the temple of the Ruach HaKadosh. You've got to bring the light of Yeshua in within the veil, within the holy place, the Makom Kadosh. Because if you don't, what's the world going to do to your light? Oh, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Your mom's doing it. Your dad's doing it. Everybody's doing it. That pressure to conform. That pressure to be uniform. That pressure to uniformity and conformity. So you just can't say, well, brother, I'm the light of the world, glory to go, you know. No. No. You're going to have to protect that light, not under the bushel of your own choosing. You're going to have to protect it within you. You can't just sit down and eat Pesach and say, sign me up, I want to buy a ticket. You take these 2 weeks to get ready. Amen. And forgive one another as Mashiach has forgiven you. Yes. Be kind, tenderhearted, Ephesians 4:32. Forgiving one another, even as Mashiach has forgiven you. If you hate your wife, and you hate your husband, and you don't talk, and you live in the same house, and you give them the cold shoulder, you need to stay home. We'll refund your money. Learn how to act in love before you talk Torah. And myself too. I'm saying we, all of us. If I don't take the light that Yeshua has given me and hide it under the veil. The veil is a protection against the wind, the rainstorm, the desert storm, all the forces that are out there that want to quench my light. And the table that Yahweh has prepared before me in the face of my enemies. I just can't put the table in the parking lot and then have everybody come and sit at the table. I'm responsible for what gets set on the table, and I'm responsible for eating those things that are righteous, true, holy, and set apart. That's the Hebraic responsibility. That's the Hebraic calling. That's the Hebraic burden. That's the Hebraic unction. You follow me?
Amen.
It's do it yourself. Yeshua shows you the way, and then you walk in the way, and you hear a little voice behind you, a still small voice. Yep, this is the way. That's right. Flee fornication. It doesn't say, come and wait for the rapture. It doesn't say that. Flee lying. Flee shady business dealing. Flee hatred and variance and unforgiveness and hatred. No, it didn't say, I'll come and rapture you from hatred. I'll come and rapture you from unforgiveness. I'll come and rapture. No, Yeshua will do nothing until you take these precious things that he's given you and hide it within the veil. Hello?
Yeah.
You are the temple of the Ruach HaKadosh. And we are to take these precious Kadosh items and to hide them so that no man can have access to them, so that no one can quench these things or quench the Ruach or come in and do despite to these things. And yet they are within the veil, and we don't hide those things. They shine forth and they go out into the world.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
We let them out, but we don't let anybody mess with those things that we have hidden in our heart, that we may not sin against him. Thy word, O Yahweh, Psalm 119, verse 11, have I hid in my heart, so I won't sin against you, because my heart, that ark, no one has the key to the ark. No one has the key to the ark except you. Does any of this make sense?
Yeah.
Raising your tabernacle. If Yahweh told Moshe to do it, can we do it? Yes. Should we do it? Yes. Why? He was a man of like passions as we are. Nothing separated Moshe from us. He was a sinner. We're a sinner. He needed a Savior. We need a Savior. He was one vessel for Torah, and we are the vessel for Yeshua, the living Torah. There's no difference between him and us. He was called to deliver the written Torah, and we are called to deliver to the world, lost and dying world, the written Torah. The living Torah. Make sense? Wasn't Moshe like you? How many believe Moshe had 3 hands? Can I see your hand, please? If you believe Moshe had 3 hands and 4 feet, he was just like us. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So he had to prepare the vessels. He had to raise up the tabernacle, declaring to all Israelites for all time that we receive salvation by what? Grace through faith. But it is up to hide these things from the world and let them out to those who are seeking for righteousness and for truth. Raise up your tabernacle. Yes, you haven't been to shul for a year. You've been backsliding. You've been wishy-washy. You've been double-minded. You haven't known who preaches the truth. Now you're coming to understand these eternal things. Now is the time to settle into the things of Yahweh. Now is the time to raise up your own tabernacle. Amen? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Let your light, notice, let your light so shine before men that they see your Tov mitzvot and esteem your Abba who is in the Shamayim. You didn't miss that. Your light. Your light, your table, your veil, your ark, you raise it up on the first day of Aviv. Because you just don't rush into Pesach, because some who eat the Pesach and do not consider the body and the blood of Yeshua drink and eat condemnation to themselves. You cannot love Yahweh whom you have not seen and hate your brother and sister who you have seen. You can't do it. And if you try to do it, he could exercise his choice and discipline you seriously. It's not a matter of will I be there at Pesach. It's a matter of will you take these 2 weeks, starting with Aviv 1, and cleanse your temple, so you are worthy to eat the body and drink the blood of Yeshua. Will you be worthy? Will you make yourself worthy? Will you flee fornication? Will you flee lying? Will you flee deceitfulness? Will you flee covetousness? Will you flee jealousy? You shall not covet anything that is your neighbor's. You shall not envy what they have. All these things we need to what? Raise